Government decided to limit the legal possession for medical purposes to dried marijuana. And we say extracts, things that you don't have to smoke, according to the experts, are more effective and better for you. And so that case succeeded here in British Columbia, both at the trial level and the Court of Appeal, and was now argued in Ottawa, and that will also have an impact on the Allard case. However, when I started practicing back in the early 70s, people used to go to jail for simple possession of marijuana. Now, we've come a long way since then. We've come to the stage where we can do this in Vancouver. Not everywhere in Canada, though. Not everywhere in British Columbia, though. So we've come a long way. We've got a very good city hall government with a good attitude, a good police force here in Vancouver and other parts of BC that have a good attitude and realize that we're on a roll. You know, Washington State, Colorado, Oregon, Alaska, we're on a roll. The roll from back in the 20s and 30s that rolled this way and made it illegal is rolling back. They're not going to undo it. You've got 20 to 30 medical states in the US. So it's on a roll. But we have to do it in Canada. We have to remember that it's still illegal. It's still illegal for you to possess marijuana. It's illegal for you to grow it, to distribute it. We want to be able to come here and be able to do things like this anywhere in Canada, and not just because somebody's allowing you to do it, but because you're legally entitled to do it. And so that's why the most important thing for all of you is this October 19th election coming up. We have a federal election. The law is a federal law. It's governed by the federal government. There's only one political party of the three major parties that has come out and said it will legalize, not decriminalize, no minimal backdoor sort of thing, actually legalize, full-blown legalization. And that's the Liberal Party of Canada. So if you're going to vote, and you should all vote, because if you don't vote, we're going to continue to have this Harper crowd who are not going to do anything other than maybe give you a traffic ticket scheme so that the police can come and give you a ticket. Can you imagine what will happen if the police can give you a traffic ticket? It'll be worse than the situation is now. Now they don't bust you, many of them, at least here in Vancouver, because of a good attitude, but in other places because of the paperwork, because of what they have to do to take you through the courts and all the rest of it. Traffic ticket, don't have to do any of that stuff. You know, it's a cash grab. It makes it easy, and it makes it then so much longer before we'll ever get legalization, real legalization. And it's the federal government that has to take it out of Schedule 2 to the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act in order to make it legal. And then we'll see what the provinces do. Will they do it like booze? Will it be, you know, what are the various models that exist out there in terms of these things? So you've got to get out and vote. You've got to go get your friends out to vote. And you've got to vote strategically. You've got to vote against the Conservatives, against the Harper government. So if you've got an NDPer in your riding that is likely to win, you vote for the NDPer in order to beat the Conservative. If you've got a Liberal candidate in your riding that's got a good chance of winning, you vote for the Liberal candidate. The bottom line is you're voting against the Conservatives. That's the most important thing. And you've got to get all of your friends to do it, because you don't want to split the vote. You don't want people splitting the vote so the Conservatives ride up the middle and get back in power, and you're going to be stuck getting away with being able to do this in Vancouver, but we're still going to have people getting busted. We're still going to have people being stopped, and because of the smell of marijuana, having themselves searched, having their cars searched, sometimes being charged, having to come and hire lawyers and then go through the courts. And believe me, you don't need to be convicted in order to be prejudiced by these laws. They simply have to arrest you nowadays, and there'll be something in a computer about you having been arrested, even if you were just a passenger in the car. And if you go and apply for a job when you apply for certain things, sometimes they do a check, and they call it a criminal record check. But it isn't limited to your criminal record. It's everything that they can find in the police databases. And there are huge databases out there now. And they are shared with the United States of America. And you try and cross the border, even if it's legal in Washington State, it's the U.S. federal government that controls that border, and you'll have problems getting in. So a stay of proceedings where they drop the charges, even a dismissal, even if you're found not guilty, people have been prejudiced by that simply because that's part of your actual record. So we've got to put an end to this. We have to put an end to the use of prohibition in order to to get rid of this idea that people can be arrested and processed through the criminal justice system. And the only way you're going to do it, the only way, is through the political process. I've been involved in court cases in this regard, as I say, going back to the 70s. And we've still got room to argue things about medical marijuana and that sort of thing, which we're hopefully going to achieve in the Allard case. But the court told us in the old Kane-Malmo-Levine case back in 2003, the Supreme Court of Canada told us that this is a political issue. The government can, if they choose, prohibit something. They can decide what to prohibit. So the only way that we can stop this is for the people to get out there and vote out these turkeys that continue to believe in prohibition. Prohibition drives it underground. Prohibition causes violence. Prohibition is stupid. So, I want you to repeat after me. Kick Harper out! Kick Harper out! Louder! Kick Harper out! Kick Harper out! Kick Harper out! You got my message. Thank you very much.
John Conroy, everybody, give him a big hand.
Oh yeah, our hero.
Giving speeches in court is where his forte is.